don't do this often, but today I don't have a cameraman with me, so I wanted to hunt with my longbow. I have some new broadheads made right here in Michigan, called Razor broadheads. I wanted to try out, so I decided to take the longbow instead of the gun today. These new broadheads are made right here in Michigan. Last year I shot another Michigan-based broadhead manufacturer. I really love doing this all in my home state. Michigan is my home state. I love using Michigan-made products. The longbow is made here in Michigan. The quiver is made right here in Michigan. Last year I was using some broadheads made right here in Michigan, and this year I'm using a different set of broadheads. I'll try them out. They're single bevel, very, very high quality broadheads. They're really, really heavily made. I'm excited to use them because I'm sure they'll perform great. I've used a lot of broadheads similar over the years, and these are probably one of the best made broadheads I've ever had a chance to shoot, that are two blade. So it's actually a single blade, but they're made into two cutting surfaces on either side. So I'm excited. They're pretty sweet broadheads.
It started with two guys who were just talking bow hunting, and then we started talking equipment, and Dave and I got into broadheads, and he said, hey, I like to shoot these single bevel, and Dave really took me down this road and showed me what a single bevel broadhead can do, the capabilities, and why they're superior to a lot of broadheads out there, and what I had been shooting actually. Then we got talking, we said, why don't we try to perfect on that? I mean, what are the things that people are asking for in a single bevel that they're not getting? And so then we journeyed down that path, and it's been, I think, 4 years now, but it has been fun, and we have come up with what we believe is a really solid broadhead with the things that people were asking for, with the wide cut and some added features that we did along the way to make it a really cool thing. So yeah, just a couple guys talking. That's how it started. Next thing you know, you got a business.
So at Razor Broadheads, we offer 3 different weights. You can either buy the Razor 150, 200, or the 250. And again, those come in both right and left bevel. Some of the differences, the 150 grain is going to offer a 1 1/8 inch cut, and both the 200 and the 250 are 1 3/8 inches. Now, another consideration you want to take into account when considering a single bevel broadhead, whether it's Razor or any other single bevel that you might be looking at, and that is they're only going to be sharpened on one side. And in this case, we're looking at a right beveled broadhead. So here's what you're going to want to take into account. You're going to want to match that with whatever your fletchings are. So whether it's a helical or an offset, if your arrow is spinning to the right, you're going to want a right beveled broadhead, and vice versa to the left. So the reason you're going to want your fletching rotation to match whichever bevel, whether it be left or right, that you shoot, is because when that hits the animal, if it's a right-handed bevel, it's going to twist as it goes through the animal to the right, and vice versa to the left. If your fletchings do not match the rotation of your broadhead, what's going to happen is it's going to be twisting this way in flight, and when it hits the animal, it's going to then reverse and go the other direction, and you're going to lose energy. And you want to try to maximize as much kinetic energy as you can by matching those two up. And that's one of the reasons that single bevels penetrate as well as what they do, is because they are rotating in simultaneous harmony with both the broadhead and the fletchings.
One of the things that right away that we came across was changing the ferrule weight, and so that was huge in allowing us to get a wider cut and not sacrifice the length of the broadhead. But we also, as we made that ferrule and changed the different materials on the ferrule, we played around with it, we said we want this thing to lock in there really well. So on the blade, we notched it and made what we call an H-lock. Keeps the ferrule from sliding side to side at all. It won't move. The other thing we did was we put 2 double locking opposing screws in the ferrule. And what that did was it gave it more strength, as it now has 2 screws holding it in place. But we also, if you looked at a screw and you were to take it apart and cut it in half and weigh it, we put 2 in there for balance. And so we have them opposing as opposed to on the same side, so that the weight of the broadhead is even. It's evenly distributed, so it flies evenly. And so that was really key for us to differentiate us from other people. But also, we weren't really doing that. We didn't look at other people and say that. We said, what can we do to make the best broadhead? In fact, we don't even look at other people. We're just trying to focus on ourselves, and there's a lot of good broadheads out there. We just want to make a really good one, you know. In the manufacturing world with heat treat, so our blades actually go through a couple processes, and in the heat treat world, but the second process they go through makes them uniform all the way across, all the way down the blade. And if you take a piece of metal and you put it through regular heat treat, and you were to do a hardness test on that piece of metal down the edge of it, you would find that it's different hardnesses because of going through the oven one time and the way it goes through the oven. You won't get a consistent reading. You will overall, and so as long as you get that on a majority of it, that's good enough and passes the industry standard. We want to do better than that, so we put ours through it's a longer process, it takes more time, but what it does is it makes that blade all the way down the side. You can test it. It's 58 Rockwell here, it's 58 Rockwell here, it's 58 Rockwell here, which gives you consistency all the way down the blade. What does that mean for a bow hunter? Well, it can mean a lot of things. If you've ever seen a piece of metal that has an air pocket in it and it explodes, or an edge that breaks off, we're going to make that, because of this, we're going to keep those things from happening most of the time, you know, outside of shooting rocks and cement maybe. But yeah, so you can be confident that when you get a razor broadhead, both edges, the whole blade is the same rock.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to my daddy's channel.